Get £300 off your next used car. Visit arnoldclark.com.
Welcome to Peter and Ruffy's Football Show on PLZ's YouTube and Facebook channel. Alan Ruff and Hugh MacDonald of the Daily Mail are with me here to talk football. Managers coming and going seems to be the hot topic. Here's what we're going to discuss. Yep, vacant managers posts seems to be the order of the day. Hugh MacDonald, we have on many an occasion, and Ruffy as well, here in the studio, had some good discussions with Neil Lennon. You just wonder where he goes to next after this whole thing eventually takes its course.
Yeah, I think it'll be England. I don't think there's any job in Scotland that'll interest him. The difficulty is now is getting a job in England because somebody with Neil's pedigree, I mean, he beats Barcelona and he got Bolton Wanderers, which was even a bigger basket case than it is now. So I think that's where he'll end up. He'll end up down south, but whereabouts, I don't know. It's tough getting a job now. It's tough. And every year they keep pouring out new coaches, so it's. But I think I've got a lot of time for him. I think he's an excellent coach, so I hope he gets another chance, and I think it'll be down south.
Yeah, Rod Petrie's handling this investigation. It could twist and turn at any minute, even when this show is on, Ruffy. But the point here is quite a few people are. There's a fair bit of whispering going on about what the facts are that eventually led to his suspension. If his conduct is out of order, then obviously he's paying the ultimate price. But over and above that, I think the one thing there's an undercurrent which has been bubbling along is one, Hibs' ambition, two, player power. And so many people have been commenting on the fact that player power now seems to have superseded the manager being the main man, the guy who decides, the structure of the club and who fits into it.
Yeah, and as we all know, that wouldn't sit kindly with Neil. Neil has great ambitious guy, and he wouldn't want a player to be telling him which road he should be going down or what formation he should be playing. He would be telling them this is the way you do it, because none of them have got any experience or done what he's done in the game. So that would be a problem. No, I think Leanne Dempster will be the person here that will come out eventually and let us know what happened, because I'm led to believe she was there when it all kicked off. So that's where I think you'll get the real story from, not from anybody who wasn't in the scenario when it happened. And I think we'll have to wait and see what it is.
Yeah. Well, what about the ambition of that club? Because for me, I always thought it was on the brink before we hit 2019, because I just felt conversations with him that he had with me where they weren't going to match his ambition.
Absolutely. See, it's a great thing. I mean, managers always say, I want to build. I mean, the first time a manager comes into a club, I want to build something here. Brendan Rodgers did it at Celtic. I want to build something here. And the fact of the matter is, in the current climate, you can't build anything. Certainly not build it with any certainty, because players just leave. He lost his whole entire midfield in the summer. Then at Christmas, he loses, a guy that's won the Africa Cup of Nations. Everybody has a wee snigger at Effie Ambrose, but it's a good second half. That's just tearing the whole middle out of your team. What do you do then? Do you try and start again? And that gets a bit dispiriting, because what happens as well is you're not judged at the end of the season as Martin Canning. I mean, we'll talk about Martin later. Martin Canning's not judged on the fact that, top players like Ferguson and Brophy and others have left. Crawford. He's judged on the fact that they're on a bad run of games. Nobody says to him, well, Neil Lennon, Neil, you're losing a few games because your midfield left. Nobody will say that.
Yeah.
So it's very frustrating for managers. Can be very demoralising as well, So I could see signs of real frustration in him as well, Peter, So whether it looks now as it's the breach is irreparable and he'll have to look somewhere else.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the signings. The Edinburgh Evening News, the local paper through there, has assessed the 33 signings he's made since he joined. He's only had, in their mind, about 4 failures. That's not a bad strike rate when you consider that he's managed to get them out of the Championship and that 4th place finish, Ruffy. And it could have been 2nd.
No, I don't think the Hibs supporters will hold anything against Neil Lennon and what he's brought to the club. You know, he's brought the stadium practically full every second week. You know, a large amount of success against the 2 top teams in the league. They'll remember that, you know, and I don't think that's the problem here. I think the problem, and I know you and Hugh are touching on player power and all that, but this was a meeting after that meeting, you know, that something's been said. Whether all these things have been thrown up, no, I want Scott Allen, why are you not going out and getting him now, just spend some money, all that. But we'll just have to wait and see. You know, yeah. I just think that the really big part of this, that Leanne Dempsey was at that training ground with a lot of sponsors showing them round the place when the whole thing kicked off. Yeah,
but again, you have to, in some ways, look at how either side reacted to the incident. I mean, David Gray goes on record as saying it wasn't any meeting that you would have thought, you know, a powder keg was flying around here, but Neil at times can be one of those, off-the-cuff managers. I'm not knocking that. I mean, I'm sure the facts will come out over in the next couple of days or so. But quite simply, I'm looking at it and I'm saying to myself, the Hibs fans are going to have a fair bit of spin from the club that they can move on, because I don't see the next manager coming in who's got any more of the ambition that Neil Lennon. I mean, I heard them mentioning Gordon Strachan. Gordon Strachan wouldn't touch it with a barge pole.
No, I mean, it's fanciful. But, I mean, if you ask me where they'll go, I think they'll go for, I mean, Neil, I don't think Neil was actually manager at Hibs. I think his title was head coach.
Yeah.
But he performed as a manager. I think they'll look for a head coach. I think they'll look for somebody who will take, you know, for want of a better word, orders on the budget, who will take direction on spending, and will go on and coach the first team.
Well, I think you know that's going to take a lot of what I call spin from the club then, because I think the fans will look at that and say, you know, you're just you've dropped the standards. I mean, for me, the signing of Neil Lennon, I thought, was a coup for Hibernian, because it suddenly said to me they are no longer going to actually just sit there and think, you know, the cup success was phenomenal. Alan Stubbs deserves all the credit. But I think when you start to look and say, you know, this club has the potential, maybe with the fans that were backing them, Hugh, to maybe do something if they could just push the boat out a wee bit, maybe get another bit of silverware. I'm not saying they're going to win the league, but you know, second for Hibs last season could have been great. It was 1 or 2 games that folded for them.
Yeah, but and there's no coincidence in that, because when you're talking about Neil Lennon signing 33 players and only 4 duds. That's particularly good when you look at the pool where he's buying players, because he's taking a punt in players, you know. And sometimes when you take a punt in players, it might be good over a season, but in the odd game, 1 or 2 games, they don't perform, and that costs you second place in the league. You know, I think now there'll be a real retrenchment at Hibs. I think there'll be a thinking that their model is a director of recruitment or a football director, whatever you want to call it. I think then they'll go from chief executive, director of football or recruitment, and head coach. And I think that's the way they'll go. And I think the idea of bringing through players will be more to the fore than it was as well. And I think that was being shown with the frustration in Neil as well, that he's probably saw that as coming as well.
Yeah, I wonder. I can't think of any ex-Hibs player that suddenly springs to mind that could come in and galvanise everybody again. Or, I could probably think of a few big names, but I just don't see Hibs being in that market at the moment, Ruffy.
No, I mean, if you go down Hibs favourites, you automatically think of the boy Sosie, but I don't know what he's doing. I don't know if he's still in football or where he is.
Yeah, he's had his chance at that. He had chance at the management and failed.
Yeah, no, I'm just talking about from a supporter's point of view. That's the kind of guy you would have to galvanise everybody. But for me, the interesting thing is when this comes out, what really tipped it. You know, and as you say, it'll have to be really, really serious for the fans to buy into it.
Yeah, I think we all know that it's something significant that was something that couldn't be repaired between Leanne Dempster and Neil Lennon. And Leanne at the time, I've got a lot of respect for her. I don't think she's the type of person that knee-jerks on things. And it would need to be something huge. Anyway, whether it comes out in the wash, only time will tell. Martin Canning's been sacked by Hamilton Accies. This is a statement from the club on his departure. The manager is left by mutual agreement. It's another way of just putting it nicely. So many important players have departed the club over the last 2 seasons. Michael Devlin, Eamon Brophy, Lewis Ferguson, Ali Crawford and Greg Docherty. It has become increasingly difficult to maintain the playing levels and results previously reached. Martin and the board feel that change was necessary to try and get them back to those levels. The club would like to thank Martin for his commitment. Manager and player, 200 games as a player. In the last 4 seasons, he successfully managed to maintain Hamilton Accies' status in the Premier League. Jason Scotland has also left the club, and it's D.M. Buzzelin and George Cairns in charge of first-team affairs. Now, we've rhymed off some good players there who are now forging a good career for themselves. So if they're highlighting that they can't actually maintain those levels, that's not the manager's fault, with all due respect, Hugh. That's the club's fault.
That's what I said. The managers had to go because we sold all the players. I'm surprised at it because I think the only thing I think the board might be thinking is that they need a sort of an injection, you know, that what
different voice,
a new what they call a new manager bounce, because they've been on a bad run. But if you look at the table, Hamilton are 2 places above where we all expected them to be in the table. All right, it's very tight down there with them, and but they're not anywhere in the division that we thought they wouldn't be.
Yeah,
I mean, this is where we thought at the beginning of the season you would say, you know, Hamilton will be in a fight for this right to the last day. So I think that's the only reason I think Hamilton can say, well, maybe a fresh voice, fresh impetus, and do something. I feel Martin Canning's got every right to feel hard done by, because he has had a very low budget and has kept him in that division.
Yeah, I mean, 1 win in 9, Ruffy, is hard for the Accies fans to take, and they were becoming, abusive from the stands about his tenure as manager. They wanted it to end. But I look at their side and I don't see any Ali Crawfords or Greg Dochertys coming through that suddenly would suggest to you that there's this bright future. I mean, if anything, they've gone back to tried and trusted in Ziggy Gordon, and James Keating's coming back. You know, but other than that, I'm looking at their side and I'm thinking, well, Dougie Emery's still in there. You know, there's not anything that you think, you know, this is one for the future, or another guy you could sell on.
Yeah, we used to sit here year on year and say, look at this young lad who's come through the academy, and look at this young lad, and it's just not happening now. And that happens in football. You know, you get a rich vein of young guys coming through. And as you said, Hamilton are there every year. It's not as if they're in a position that they haven't been in the last 4 or 5 years. And Martin Canning has always had the ability to get them out of it. And I know they go maybe 1 win in 8, but when the big games come round against Dundee and sitting there, they're the ones that they tend to win and get them away from the thing. I think deeper than this, it's possibly a personal thing with Martin. You know, I think when it becomes personal, when your family gets affected, and you then start having to think about different things, you know, are you enjoying the game? Is your family suffering? You know, and then when he comes to a meeting like that, obviously that's going to be in the back of his mind, and maybe he said, look, I've done all I can, I'm holding my hands up, you know, I've done my best. But I always think when it gets personal like that, people make decisions. Yeah,
no shortage of people who want the job, Hugh, because quite simply there are managers who will quite happily take the way it's operating at Hamilton.
Of course. I mean, one of the biggest wrong cliches in the game is somebody always says, who would be a manager? Well, you'll know as a director, when your job came up, you'll know how many applications you got and what kind of quality you got. There's a lot of coaches out there that are either been in the game and are out of it and are sitting at home not earning, or who have come out with their pro licence and saying, give me a chance. There'll be every club. There's every club in Scotland now. If you go around the club, you'll hear the word, well, you know, such and such is a great under-18s coach, and he's doing very well with our under-15s, etc., etc. These guys are all ambitious and want to come through, so they'll have they'll never have any problem filling the vacancy. But matter who they get, it's the old one now in football. Football now is very much dictated by budgets, and whoever goes in will have the same budget. So it's a difficult job.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, with regards to the football, weather permitting, Cowdenbeath and Rangers, the fourth round Scottish Cup tie, might get the go-ahead, give or take the odd cover. If it becomes heavy in the snow, then I think they might be toiling again. All the concerns around Ibrox will be, for the fans anyway, other players coming in. Mark Polster looks as if he is going to be in there. What about players possibly that they've already signed in pre-contracts? Well, as far as an update, Stephen Gerrard, first of all, talked about the players that will be coming in and some that might be going out.
Yeah, I think that could be announced at any time. I think he's travelled to France to get the work permit application complete, so that'll be announced maybe today, maybe tomorrow, but we're confident that one will happen. Besides that, there's nothing really else to say.
The guys who've got free contracts are very much going to stay like that in the summer?
Where we sit right here, yeah, we assume that Glenn and Jordan will join us next season.
Are you looking for some of the guys who haven't been in game time to maybe play on Wednesday or go out on loan before the window?
Yes, young Jordan Rossiter, there's a good, strong possibility he could go out on loan. He's speaking to a couple of different clubs, and hopefully we can get him out for the boys' sake to go and play and get regular games. You know, he's missed a lot of football, so I'm hoping to find the right solution for Jordan to go and get more game time. So that could be announced in the coming days. I don't expect anyone else to go anywhere.
Okay, Graham Dorrans is coming back as well, so slowly but surely he's getting players that will give a lot of experience to the midfield area. Polster will obviously help with Tavernier should he pick up any injuries along the way. And I think the one thing that everybody's keeping their eye on is there going to be any late bid for Morelos? I think, to be honest with you, he's the only real hot cookie at the moment as far as Rangers are concerned that could potentially be one they have to really shut the doors and hope he doesn't go.
Morelos would be the hot one, maybe Tavernier a lukewarm one, maybe. But I think it's now become, at this stage of the transfer window, it's now become a matter of politics rather than economics for Rangers. And politically, I think it's almost impossible for them to sell him. I know, it would. I know nothing's impossible in football, especially when it comes with money. But at the moment, I think they would face such a backlash of anger from the fans because, they've got Defoe in who could replace him. But there's a momentum building within the minds of the supporters that there's a real tilt on at the Championship, and you can't get. Morelos is central to that. Yeah,
and Celtic, they're keeping a close eye on possibly filling the role at right back, which is crying out for a right back. If you talk to any Celtic fan, but suddenly if Benkovic goes out of the team, I think they're crying out for a half decent centre half.
I think they've been crying out for a decent centre-half nearly all season, but nothing seems to have been done. He certainly has done very well since he came in, so that would be a surprise injury that he's picked up. I always thought centre-halves were big sturdy guys. They seem to be the weakest link of any team now. They seem to get injured all the time. But certainly no. We saw Celtic and midnight people coming in, so I think the supporters will be hoping there is something out there.
Yeah, of course, and ahead of the game against St Johnstone, this is the game in hand for Celtic. Scott Bain looks as if he's holding on to the number 1 jersey. He's well up for the battle.
Craig's always played to the highest standard that you can imagine. So it's been a surprise to get games, but I think when I've come in, I've done well enough to show that I'm capable of playing at this club.
Is he a worthy number one for you, Ruffy, just briefly?
Yeah, I think he's done nothing wrong. Anytime he's been given the chance, right from day one when he was thrown into that Old Firm game, he was absolutely superb. He makes the big saves at the right time, and it'd be interesting to see what Brendan Rodgers' view is and why he is doing this, because I don't think Craig Gordon will be too happy.
Yep, okay, we wait. All those little twists and turns, we analyse them Monday to Friday on PLZ Soccer's YouTube and Facebook channel at 6 o'clock. Don't forget you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'd love to have you offer your opinion as well. I can't let you go, Hugh, without talking about a sad occasion. We're in each other's company on Thursday. First chance to get your thoughts on the great Hugh McIlvanney, passed away at 84 years of age. I think, you know, we can all consider ourselves lucky to be in his company at times and witness, well, the caricature and the reality of a great man. A great man, fantastic writer, and a really good tradesman as well, Peter, as we both know, a guy who put the work in. It wasn't just all about, I think, undoubted genius, but just the same as elite sportsmen need it. He needed the hard work as well as the talent, and he would put that in, attention to detail. And what I always remember about him, very generous colleague, Ruffy, you know, I always say he was one of these, he was a friend who always said good things behind your back. Yeah, I couldn't sum it up any better. Listen, if we had half his vocabulary, we'd be flying, Hugh, wouldn't we? Well, the great thing is he's left, not only has he left a testament on file that anybody can go on and get in social media, but he's left a testament in programmes like the one marvellous interview that you did with him, which is worth anybody's time. Yep, absolutely. If you're an aspiring journalist, well worth looking back at how he actually approached his trade and how he applied himself. An absolute genius, the best way that he could be summed up by a man in Hugh MacDonald. Hopefully, if you love football, you'll join us again tomorrow on the programme. We'll be offering our analysis ahead of the Cup games and, of course, that Celtic-St Johnstone match as well. From Ruffy, from Hugh MacDonald and myself, Peter Martin, don't forget, subscribe to the YouTube channel for PLZ Soccer. Thanks for watching.
Get £300 off your next used car. Visit arnoldclark.com.